South African general elections have been given thumbs up by a number of electoral observation missions like SADC, African Union and others. Now, the missions heads briefed the media in Boksburg on their preliminary statements. SADC's head of the mission and a former Zambian vice president, Enock Kavindele, says the polls were held in the calm and peaceful environment. Khayelihle Khumalo has more for us.
Well, certainly as the political tectonic plates are shifting in South Africa, a very integral process will have to be by observation by so many groupings. And you look at the SADC bloc, you look at also the African Union and many others as well. So they just echoed a very same sentiment around a very conducive environment, but also really just having some recommendations in future. And joining us now is the head of that electoral observation mission from the SADC region, Mr. Kavindele. So once again, sir, thank you so much indeed for your time. So you said by and large there was peace in these elections, but also quite a litany of lessons for the IEC to learn.
Yes, certainly. We are very delighted that we've observed the peace. These are very peaceful elections and by far better than some of the places we've been to. I must say that I myself have been very, very surprised by the way, the peacefulness that as people of South Africa have exhibited, indeed. In every election, there are always lessons to learn. Yes, indeed. And, you know, some of them are common to almost all the places we go to. For instance, starting the elections a little bit late is not peculiar to South Africa. That has happened in all places, because if you take the voting materials, for instance, the previous evening, they get vandalized. So you have to bring the material when the people that are going to conduct the voting are there. And
also just looking at some of the lessons, I mean, the whole issue around the voter management devices attributed as one of the key reasons where we saw those snaking queues. What would you have to say on that, just in terms of making sure that also the IEC staffers are well capacitated and also adequately, you know, just quite informed in terms of the direction?
Well, there are many recommendations that all the observers have made, and could take a lot of your time, but I think we'll have to pass them to the IEC first before we, you know, take them to the public. Because you don't advise a person publicly or castigate them. But we have observed issues that are not too serious. Some of them, in fact, maybe based on the limited finances that were made available. But all in all, IEC have done a very good job. Yes.
And just before I let you go, sir, 30 years of democracy for South Africa. You had some very wonderful words to say there, especially given the role that was played by so many countries in the SADC region for South Africa to fight against apartheid and to eventually be free.
Yes, certainly. A lot of people contributed to the freedom of South Africa. The youngsters maybe don't realize that there was a time when a black person could not vote. But now, you know, those are things, that opportunities that are now open to you young people to be able to make your own decisions and choose who you want to represent you. It was never like this before. So we're happy that within 30 years, people have appreciated that and looking forward to many more successful voting arrangements like we have observed this time.
All right, so thank you so much indeed for your time. Of course, representing the SADC electoral religious body, observing the elections here in South Africa, but also a very important issue around the gender parity. I think that really came out quite strongly, but also the vibrancy of the democracy of South Africa. Khayelihle Khumalo, SABC News, Boksburg.